Welcome in if you're new here, welcome back if you've been here before. We're starting another Halloween craft, so let's get to it. First of all, I don't know if I'm going to get any comments on my shirt, but this is not the devil. It is not Satan. It is darkness. This is actually from the movie Legend. It's one of my favorite movies. I remember watching it many, many times when I was a young girl. He actually has a unicorn horn in his hand here. But yeah, I'm sure nowadays it's very vintage looking and very campy looking, but it was one of my favorite movies growing up. As I have said in other videos, Halloween, spooky, is my identity for the next foreseeable future. Before we start this craft, I have to protect my craft table here. So I purchased these. They're the plastic type of tablecloths. I think I got these at Dollar General. I got two of them. I got one for my craft table downstairs, which you haven't seen yet. It's in the garage. I'm sure you'll see it someday in a future video. They were only $3 a piece. And of course, I got Halloween themed. Pumpkins, moths, spiders, very on brand. And what we are going to do is take this frame apart. This year's crafts are much bigger and more plentiful than last year's. Last year, I just kind of dipped my toe into the Halloween crafts. This year, I'm going all in. I have a razor knife here. I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to be cutting the tape here. And guys, this, if you have been following our videos, you may have seen all of these frames that I have in my craft closet, which is back there. I have a ton of frames, and I've kept these frames all over the years knowing that I would do crafts like these with them. What I'm going to do is go around the perimeter. I'm going to take all of these staples out because we're not going to need them anymore. So I may spray paint this. But what I am going to do now is go ahead and clean the frame because I'm going to be painting the frame, but it's very dusty. Okay, I have a few different kind of paints here. I am going to kind of mix a bunch of different things together. I'm going to dip my sponge into this black here, and I'm just going to dab. Then I'm going to take some white, grab some green. So what I'm going for is just an aged kind of look. I have some spooky plans for this picture frame. We're going to be putting something inside of it that is going to be 3D. It's going to be looking like it's coming out of it. And I kind of want it to look almost like stone, kind of. I'm going to keep doing this and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, and here we have it. It is finished. I wanted to use a sponge so it would give kind of this textured finish that you're seeing, so it would look kind of old and weathered. I'm gonna call it a night. It is, what time is it? 5:38. Dave just got home from work, so I'm gonna go downstairs and start supper, and we'll meet back here tomorrow, same place. See you tomorrow. All right, so for the next step for my wall mounted art masterpiece, we're going to spray paint this black. As you can see, I've already spray painted a bunch already. And basically, I just want to cover up that image that was on there previously. Okay, we're back on a different day, and I am continuing with the skellington in a picture frame. And I don't even know if I have said what this craft even is. I know that you saw me take the picture frame apart, you saw me paint the frame, but I don't know if I've said what I'm doing with it. I am putting a skellington inside of it. The next step that I'm going to be doing is using this velvet. I don't know if I'm going to hot glue it onto the glass or if I'm going to put it behind the glass. I guess we'll kind of figure that out as we go. But for now, I do need to iron it because it has been folded up in a closet for absolute years, so it needs to be ironed. You wouldn't have to use a piece of velvet if you didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff for this type of craft. As far as the frame, I'm using a frame that I already had. I did think about buying one, but I have all those frames up in the closet in the craft room that I want to do crafts with, so I figured why not just use what you already have. I already had this piece of velvet, but if you didn't have some of these items, you could just go buy a frame. Frames are not very expensive unless you get very elaborate ones. You wouldn't really need to get a very elaborate one. Mine was just very plain and I painted it with paint that I already had. You could actually spray paint the glass. You could spray paint the back of it. You could even, I know that there's a technique that you can do to glass to make it look like a mirror. You could do that. That would be cool. All right, I've got my fabric all ironed. I've got my frame all painted. So we're gonna move on to the next step. I think I'm going to drape the fabric over this. Now, technically, I didn't need to spray paint this. I know you saw me spray paint it. I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to incorporate all this, so I think I'm gonna glue the fabric onto this. We are going to put the glass in the frame. Remember, I painted this frame. We're going to take this that I have covered in the velvet. See how velvety? We're going to put that there. This goes on the back, and then we're going to put this on the back to hold it all in. And if we don't like it, then we're going to have to take it all apart. I've got my frame all put together. The next thing that I'm going to incorporate is Mrs. Skellington. Okay, I have seen these on some people's art channels, and they only have the breast part. As you can tell, this is a pretty small breastplate, and I'm going to be putting it on this frame. What I think I'm going to do, this skeleton is put together with lots of screws. So I'm going to try to just use either the tailbone up, I'm going to keep her noggin on there, or just the spinal column up. I am going to keep her arms because I may try to, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to move the frame over here and I'm going to do some surgery. We need to name this skeleton because I don't want to just keep calling her Mrs. Skellington. I want to give her a name. What name should I give the skeleton? How does this go? If you're wondering, I did buy this skeleton from Joann Fabrics. It was on sale. It was $19.99. It was, I think, 40% off of that, so pretty cheap. Okay, I have the frame moved to a part of the room where I'm not going to need to disturb it while it dries. I have some E6000, and what I think I'm going to do is squirt some E6000 on all the raised parts. I'm also going to use some hot glue. Here we go. Nothing left to do but do it, right? There we go. Alright, now let's hope that this works. I don't know. This might be a colossal fail. We will see. I mean, really the only parts of her that are touching the glass is her pelvic bone right there and the back of her head. We're gonna leave her overnight and let the E6000 work its magic. Hopefully she's sturdy in the morning. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll see how Mrs. Skellington fared tonight. Okay, it's been several weeks. I am continuing work on my spooky skeleton artwork in the frame. We need to give her a name. I was thinking Sheila. She is like stuck on there pretty good. The back of her head on there, you can see glue under there, but that didn't even like touch the surface. So she's basically just hanging on by her head and her pelvis. Sorry, Sheila. So I thought about doing her arms like this. I'm thinking I'm going to get some of my floral wire and wire her hands together. All right, Sheila, baby. Is that, how's that? I think that's good. I think that's good. Are you happy? All right, I've gathered all of my flowery parts. I've got some of these wiry branches. Sorry about that window. I've got some of this black hangy stuff that I will probably chop up a little. I've got some of this glittery black fern, and I have these flowers. I really liked this color because this skellington is probably going to hang. Let me show you where I'm going to hang it. It's probably going to be hanging right here in this area on my wall over my reading chair, and it's probably just going to stay there all year long. I mean, we are going to be selling this house at some point. They might make me take it down to show the house, but I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I really thought that this color of blue really went well with the craft room, so that's why I got those. Also, I still have these sparkly spiders that I bought from the Dollar Tree. So what my idea was, and I'd really like to do it, but it requires more work and also pausing where I am, which means that this video will get out later to you guys. You can't even see me. Okay. I thought about getting some of the spray paint, like the transparent clear spray paint. I have some blue, which would not look good with this application. I wish I had some of the clear. I don't. I would have to go buy some or order some off of Amazon, which is going to delay me doing this because I would have to do this step next. I thought about making a template, doing like an oval around Sheila here, spray painting the rest. So I would have to kind of cover her somehow. So all of this would be like a misty looking transparent white. It would almost look like she's coming out of a portal almost. I really like that idea. Okay, I did it. I ordered some transparent frosted spray paint from Amazon. It's not going to be here until Saturday though, so this craft is going to have to wait until Sheila, I'm sorry. Sorry, girl. We're going to have to wait until next week to finish you. It's okay. It is okay, honey girl. It is okay, honey girl. And of course, because I decided to do this, I had to take the whole frame apart again, which I didn't mind because this tape was horrible. I did have Dave bring me some actual duct tape home, and we're going to tape this all back together later. Okay, I've taken this out of the frame. I'm getting ready to spray paint using this frosted glass transparent spray paint. I was going to make a template to make a perfect oval around Miss Sheila here, but I think I'm just going to freehand it. Making a perfect oval was just more than my brain could handle. So I'm gonna spray this really quick. It should dry really quickly too. So let's spray paint. All right, my paint is dry. It looks very splotchy in the camera. Honestly, it does look a little splotchy in person, but I'm not too worried about it because we're going to be adding a lot to this, so I don't think it's going to be very noticeable once we have everything on Miss Sheila here. The next step was to add all the flower pieces, and I was just trying to figure out where to position all of these. I didn't want it to be too gaudy and look like too much because we're going to be adding a lot around her as well. Okay, I am in the loft, and I apologize. The loft in our house is notorious for crappy lighting, but I did make some mushrooms for the skellington art print, and I also made some candles for another crafty thing that I'm doing. I think for my first time, I did pretty okay. I also made some little candles for another ghosty craft that I'm doing, and when I tell you guys that I don't throw anything away, I hope you believe me, because I don't. These little things that look like wicks, those are incense that I burnt at some point in time, and I kept the wooden wick part of the incense because I thought it looked like a blown out candle, and I thought I can use that for a craft one day, so I kept it. After 24 hours, the mushrooms were ready for paint, so I painted those. I also decided to add some gold paint onto Miss Sheila herself, which I'm so glad I decided to do this because it makes her really stand out and gives her an air of mystery and magic. I then glued the mushrooms onto the frame, and I'm also very glad that I decided to make these mushrooms because having the mushrooms glued onto the frame just gives the frame so much more interest. I glued these stems onto the mushroom caps so that I could then glue them onto Miss Sheila, and here I'm just trying to decide where I want to glue the mushrooms onto her frame. After adding all the clay pieces, I started adding the moss. I love the moss. I think it brings everything together. Just so you know, because I have been asked, I use craft moss that I buy from the craft store. I'm not going out into the wilderness collecting moss. You could do that, but you would have to prepare it so that you kill any microorganisms that live in the moss. I then put these glittery spiders on her. I used 2 and added some moss around those as well. And then I added these butterflies. I've had these butterflies for years. I got them from Amazon and just keep them on hand for crafts. I think they add the perfect mystical touch. Okay, I am sitting on the floor. I'm getting ready to show you the finished project. It's actually not complete. Like, I can't hang it up on the wall yet because we do have to install this on the back of it before I can hang it. I know I've said this for the last few Halloween craft videos that I have done, but I am in love with it. I cannot believe that I dreamed this up. Here it is. I hope you like it. Dave attached a hanger on the back for me so that I could display her above my reading chair. So we're going to hang her really quickly and admire her in all of her beauty. I love how this project turned out. I think it's beautiful in a morbid type of way, and I do think that there is beauty in the macabre. At least I think so. And this is another project that exceeded my expectations. It turned out so much better than I thought it was going to. The clay mushrooms did give me a lot of headache. They kept wanting to break on me, but I finally got them glued onto her frame without breaking. But let me show you Miss Sheila's final resting place. That is until we sell this house. This is where she's going to reside until we sell this house. I think it's beautiful. She's gonna live right here beside my reading chair. She's gonna look over my shoulder and read right along with me. I love her little mushrooms. I love her golden touches. I love the butterfly touches. So that is it for this Halloween craft. I really enjoyed making this. I really enjoyed letting my imagination take hold and just add bits and pieces here and there that I think are beautiful. I hope you enjoyed coming along. I enjoyed making it. All those YouTubey things, like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.